Circle of KERZOVEN, a new survival city builder with a twist. What twist do you ask? I'll tell you in a second. First, let's get some of the basics out of the way. What is this game all about? Let's read the description. In Circle of KERZOVEN, you take the role of a leader, delegated to build new settlements in a remote, unknown corner of the kingdom. In those forgotten places, nature is wild and legends are more real and vivid than one might think. Experience the challenges of different seasons and climate in a world where every animal and every plant tries to find their place. So as I'm recording this, the game is not out yet, but on May 30th, 2023, so at the time I'm recording this video in a few days, you will be able to play a free demo on Steam. As always, I will put the link to the Steam page in the video description below. And in the video description below, you can also find the link to a Kickstarter campaign. Because on the same date, 30th of May, the team will launch this Kickstarter to fund the last few months of development. And that's why I wanted to do this video today to show you where the game is at today, so you know if you want to actually support the team to finalize this. This is not a sponsored video, but thank you to the dev team for sharing a free key with me so that I can try this game. Now, I promised that the game was different, and no, I'm not talking about the graphics. Obviously, yes, those graphics are probably different to what you may be used to, even if a couple of recent games have used these low poly graphics. For example, Diplomacy is not an option, another great one out there. But no, it's not these graphics, even if I have to say I do love this water animation and having some trouts sleeping over here. Oh, he's not sleeping anymore, now he's moving. Now, the real difference is that this game is really based on a full ecosystem. It's not just humans, but you also have animals and plants, and they're all interconnected. What do I mean? Well, to give you a very concrete example of what I mean is, if I kill all of the gray wolves on the map and I don't hunt the red deers, nobody's gonna hunt them. So their population is going to grow, and then they're going to eat all of my crops. But on the other side, if I don't control that gray wolf population, then they may kill all of the red deers or they may start attacking me. So all of this is interconnected, and I think this is quite something interesting. Now, before we play this game a bit together live, let me summarize some of the key points around the content, the UI, and things like this. Let's start with the population. There are actually 7 tiers of population. It's quite a lot. If you think about Anno, right, we will have our farmers over here, then our workers, then my people right now are artisans. There's a few more. I haven't seen names actually of those tiers yet, but that could come in the future. And then all of this population is actually, really simulated. For example, if I click over here on Sylvia, I can see all of the details of Sylvia. I can even change her name. Let's put her name to David. This way I already have David and Christoph in my city. And there's some really cool things over here. We're going a bit into the RPG mode where there is genetic effects. There are gonna be 5 random positive one and 5 random negative one to say what he or she is good at. So for example, David is faster than the average person. He has this genetic trait. But David is also energy inefficient, meaning he basically needs to eat more than the average person. And with that, we get, as I said, a bit more kind of RPG stat. You get your endurance, your HP, you get your speed for walking, your force, your resistance, things like this. And these people, have a certain age, they will start aging as the year over here start moving. David has a house, this is this house over here. If we click on it, we can see who's actually sleeping over there. We have some inventory. Right now he is actually sleeping, so he's not really doing anything and he doesn't have any inventory or anything like that. And then another thing that's quite interesting is you can have multiple walking places. Right now he's walking in 2 places. He's walking at the forester stump and at the sowing place, which are, by the way, next door to each other. I was a bit smart then. And we can see that this work is actually a workload of 88%. So I could potentially also give him a 3rd working place. And then lastly, all of these people, they have needs, right? As a farmer, for example, they want a basic source of food and they want some light protection from the weather, basically a tent. Then when they move to workers, they want something else. For example, they want to be able to eat from a plate and not the floor. So I need to start making plates and a few other things. So as you can see, a lot of needs that we need to give to be able to upgrade our population. And that's not all for our people. You can also schedule how many hours per day they need to work. Obviously, they will be more or less productive, more or less happy, depending on this. Then while we're here, I can also click on storage to see everything that I'm storing in my city in different places. And lastly, the sensors that I was showing you before, where we can really see everything. For example, we can see I have tons of rats in my city right now. We're gonna need to be careful about that. Going back to the storage, there's different categories, and we can also see them at the top over here, where I have, for example, my wealth over here. I have some equipment like basic clothes. We have some resources like my materials over here, the firewood or the cutstone. And then a lot of type of food, people need to eat, otherwise they are not gonna do any work. And if we continue at the top over here, we can see our timing. We are Sunday year 3, almost 2 a.m. So that's why everybody is sleeping right now, including the fishes and animals and all of this. And we can accelerate the time. I mean, it seems that time is literally real time, meaning 1 minute is sort of close to 1 minute in game, but then you can also increase it to 300 if you want to really go fast. And also the years are not 300 days, they are less than that. But if you want, you can play at a really normal rate, or you can accelerate and go super fast. And then this will also influence the season. Each year we'll have the 4 seasons, including complete different changes in visual. When you're in winter, everything is white. And of course in gameplay, the food grows differently in different seasons. Then at the bottom over here we have the mini-map with some different elements like the heat, the water, dirt, and more kind of vegetation. But we also have, pressing M, a real map. We are over here in the hills. This is the starting point. And then I send some expedition to discover other places. So for example, over here at the lakes, there is another city. This is not my city, this is somebody else's. But you can see they have also built some cool stuff. Others, like the mountain, there's nobody there. And here I can actually build things myself. These are buildings that I placed, because we'll also get access to different resources. In my starting village over here, there's a lot of tin ore. Over here, there's a lot of iron ore. Here we have copper ore and more, as you can see. And talking about maps, there is actually already an amazing feature of map editor. We can update the maps that already exist, or we can create a completely new map. And then as you can see, you can start placing whatever you want on the map, including we can place, the animals that we want. So with this, I think you can really create the map of your dream, or you can create scenarios. And that's really good to see that right from the start. There's a lot of shortcuts like B for your buildings or F1 for the helps and tips, and you can also move all of those things, you can pin them. There's also some good UI. We can actually, talking about UI, looking at the options over here, you can change the UI scale, which is not always the case, and I think that's quite an important one. And many other options over here. You can also zoom in quite close and quite far. Look at this, we see the whole map. I like that they've added some shapes of mountain in the back, and obviously over here it doesn't look so great, but yeah, you can zoom in, zoom out pretty well. So honestly, for a game not even in early access yet, and which was mostly a one-man show for a long time as far as I understand, this is really impressive. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but there's definitely a lot. But how does it feel when you actually play it? Let's start a new map so I can show you a bit the tutorial and how it does play. So let's start a new game on the main map. There is a bit of an introduction, but I'll skip it so you can focus on the gameplay. We're on the same map, but now there's nothing, right? There's no buildings, people have nothing. They're not naked, but almost, right? They have nothing over here. We only have 10 instead of 15. We do have some reserves, so that's good. And we have a quest over here. This is a bit the tutorial. This is how we're gonna get started. If you go over here in the quest, you can see a bit of details, and in particular, what buildings do we need to do? Some foresters, some gathering shacks, and straw hut to get a roof over their head. So let's start building. There is also roads, obviously. You can build something like this, for example. Some of the roads like this are already there to go up the mountain. And then pressing B, we get access to our construction. Right now, only level 1 is unlocked. We're back to level 1. So let's go. I mean, gathering shack, that's obviously important. We can rotate the buildings, of course. Make sure that the road is next to where it should be. Then forester stumps. Let's build one over here and maybe also one over there. And lastly, we need a place for our population, right? Which I think we're gonna put over here. It is not part of this first quest, but I know it's gonna come later, so let me put it right away. Of a fireplace, this is the center of my city if you wish. Then we can put a couple of these small houses. As I showed before, we can change how some of them look. Make it a bit different. Good. They only ask for one. I'm gonna build 4 because I want all of my people to have a roof. It is, they're transporting some resources to go build this thing. More and more coming, and they're starting to also do the work. And done. Here it is. Our first building. We can have 3 people working over here. We can choose, you know, to have only 1 or 3 as we want. We can choose who should be there. Right? I can select a specific one to work there. There is also some upgrades. You know, if I spend some resources, I can upgrade, for example, having more storage or collection more quickly. So that's pretty good. And then what's also really interesting is you can decide what we should be doing. You know, I can harvest the grain, I can get fruits, vegetables, harvest the roots, or harvest the grass. And I can decide to toggle some or all of them to do on and off. And that's for all of the buildings, you know, for example, over here for the forester stump, similarly, we can cut down trees, collect branches, mushrooms, and leaves. We choose a bit what we want to focus our production on. And here we can see, you know, we're producing things. This one is cold, I guess. And here we're trying to build some of those huts, but we need some grass. I think we are low on grass. Yeah, we only have 26. We need way more than that. So that's gonna come slowly but surely. Here it is. I think they're delivering some. Here it is. We saw it just went down. And this is where you may want to start accelerating the time a bit. First night. Oh, we have a fire over here. Nice. Okay, and what is that? The sheep has stole something. So as told you, you know, the ecosystem is all around. It's not just my people that have needs. Even the animals have needs, you know, they're looking for food. They're also looking at some point for shelter. So we're gonna build, you know, a sort of house for them. And yeah, we can get them upgraded. Now we have finished the first quest, moving to the second. We already built a fireplace over here, but we need to start doing a few others. Primitive stone masonry to get some stones. The hand mill to start getting some flour. The baker to start transforming the flour into bread. And then firewood. This is a resource that we're going to get from the wood over here. We're gonna transport it. Oh, many of these people are not happy or something. Something is happening. I don't know what, but something. So let's build a couple of these buildings. The stone masonry you can't put anywhere. You know, you can see that over here there's nothing green in range. Everything is black. Put it over here. Now I have some green ones because this is stone, basically. Makes sense. Okay, we're also gonna put a road because that's quite far. Good. Let's actually build 2 again. Now rotate it like this. Perfect. We need the hand mill to start making, as I said, flour from the wheat. So we already have a bit of wheat on the map, but we can also build more later. So that's what we're gonna do. And then the sewing place is what's going to transform a raw wood into planks and firewood. We're gonna put it close to the wood over here. Right, makes sense. Okay, accelerating a bit the time once again. We can look at our population over here also to see what problems. We still have 2 people that don't have a house, and everybody is looking for clothes. Okay, we finished this quest, and now we need a rudimentary tailoring table to make some clothes and a community center. It's like your big building in the center of town. And then, as I was saying before, you can also plant the wheat fields. So maybe let's expand this wheat field over here, like this. Cool. The rudimentary tailor is over here. And we need a bit more houses for everybody to have one. And then the community center, actually, we cannot build it right away because it is a level 2 building. So we first need to get our people to level 2. Right now, most of them are at 75% of level 1 because once again, they need one more need around having some clothes. So this is what we're gonna do with this tailor there. Now looking at my people, my employees, you know, I only have 10 people right now. They're all working already, but some of them are working more than others. For example, Sylvia is working at 99%, so she's basically full, versus Simon is only actually working 35% of the time apparently. So we may want to put Simon on this job. He needs to increase his working conditions. Okay, and we have reached level 2. Right, some of our first people, I'm guessing, are at level 2 over here. Simon is at level 2 because he got some of these clothes. Perfect. Now we unlocked a lot of new buildings and a lot of new needs. You can see a lot of new buildings over here, the cheese, and as we mentioned before, the community center. We can only build 1 per map, so be smart where you build it. I'm not gonna be so smart. I'm gonna just put it right there. The big one. It's gonna take quite a bit of resources, as you can see, including a lot of stone. We actually don't have that much, so good thing I put some people over here. Andre and Petra, I'm counting on you. Oh, that was a big problem. Look at this. I blocked the road over here, right? I put it on the road. So we're going to destroy it and rebuild it. All of the resources can be sent now into it. Few more people now getting to level 2 and almost there. Only one resource left to build this magnificent community center. Come on. It is, we have the community center, and with this we really get access to the map. Now with this we can start sending people to the other villages. It's gonna take a bit of time and resources, but it will be done. But we also have access to diplomacy now. We have discovered some other villages that have a certain population and number of money, and we can start doing things with them. For example, having a trade agreement, and in the future they can even join my faction. On top of this, we've got access to new buildings, right? Like the barns that can give shelter for the animals, or the well to get access to water for my people. But I think you sort of get the gist of what this game has to offer so far. So what is my personal conclusion right now? I mean, I think it's definitely really promising. In particular, I like small things, but that are quite important. Like you can rename your people or your community center. You can pin windows and move them wherever you want. There's quite a few needs, so you know, there's some depth over here, especially if you count 7 tiers of population. I love this idea of genetic effects, right? So that all of our people are slightly different and you may want to optimize who is working on what. But I do have to admit that I felt a bit overwhelmed because I felt that the tutorial was just telling me, well, build this next building, but it wasn't really explaining to me how this is going to work, or guiding me through the fact that, you know, we probably need several foresters, or how many gatherers will we probably need depending on our population. Like basically, I felt it was a bit hard to start managing proactively my different resources. How much am I producing per year? How much am I consuming per year? This is the type of things that I felt so far are a bit missing. Now, having said that, I think it's worth noting that these things are often done at the end of the game development. You know, a really good tutorial usually come at the end, or things like good dashboards to measure, you know, how much you're producing and things like this, again, usually comes sort of later. So again, I think there's a lot of promise into this game. I'll definitely keep an eye out, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree? What do you feel may be missing? Do you want to see more of this game on the channel? Thank you for watching, smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time.